All righty, so we are going to get started now, and we'll get started with a brief presentation from HGACBuy.
All right, I'm going to share my screen and get this going. Good morning and welcome to the virtual open house with HGACBuy. I'm your host, Kristen.
And I'm your co-host, Marlena. We are excited to share a little bit about HGACBuy with you today and our featured contracts. So let's get right into it.
Sure thing. So we're going to start with a little trivia. Do you know what HGACBuy stands for? That's HGACBuy. If you do, drop that in the chat. Here, I'll give you a little hint. Our offices are here in Houston, Texas. However, we actually operate as a national cooperative purchasing program, and we've been in business for over 45 years.
That's right. As a contractor-funded program, we help thousands of local governments save millions of dollars by offering our competitively bid contracts to our members free. Going out to bid for our members not only saves them time, but a considerable amount of money as well.
And time is money, Marlena.
That's right.
We try to keep the process extremely simple to join. In fact, you can go right to our website to fill out the interlocal contract agreement. And we are going to drop that link for you right now in the chat. Speaking of the chat box, let's get back to our trivia question. Did you figure it out? HGACBuy, helping governments across the country buy. That's our name, and that's what we do. Another important fact about HGACBuy is that we pride ourselves on partnering with others to make the procurement process simpler and more beneficial.
That's right. For instance, current members of Sacramento Area Council of Governments, Mid-America Regional Council, Baltimore Metropolitan Council, and the Municipal Association of South Carolina automatically become members of HGACBuy without having to complete the online ILC form. Additionally, all members of HGACBuy, regardless of how you join, get to enjoy the wonderful benefits of our collaboration with national cooperative procurement partners.
Speaking of those benefits, let's not forget that HGACBuy keeps all of our solicitation documents for our members. And unlike other cooperative purchasing programs, we ensure the compliance of every single order. When it comes to your audits, this could be a lifesaver.
A lifesaver for sure. Well, that's all from us. If you'd like to learn more about HGACBuy or need to contact us, feel free to download the document that was just dropped in the chat box.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to move on to our vendors.
All right, good morning. So again, through there, you heard about a lot of different links that were going to be dropped in the chat. They weren't, but I will be dropping them in the chat as we go for you, and I will mark those. Let me know if you have any questions so that we don't delay. We'll go ahead and get started, and we'll hear from Lauren with EasyMile.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. That was a great introduction. So it's a pleasure to be here. Let me start by introducing EasyMile. We are a driverless technology company. So we specialize in the software and the hardware that goes with it that is used to automate vehicles. And so we've been around since 2014. I consider us to be old in this space. We've been putting driverless vehicles on the road since 2014. And in fact, this is our portfolio of all the vehicles. So it ranges from material handling to passenger transport. I'm going to talk to you in more detail about the two vehicles that are available now. But what I think is really interesting is that this shows how our technology can be applied really to any vehicle type. We partner with the vehicle manufacturers and we automate them on the assembly line. And so they go through all of the kind of traditional quality processes and more, and a lot of testing before they're actually on the road. So I'm going to start by talking about the EZ10. So this is the driverless electric shuttle. It's available today and it has actually been deployed since 2014. It is what we are most known for. So it's a custom-built driverless and electric shuttle. It can fit up to 6 people seated with seatbelts. It operates on an electric battery that can last up to 16 hours with no heat or AC, but it's really more like 10 to 12 hours with the heat or AC. It has a built-in accessible ramp. It's an ADA compliant vehicle. And the way that it works is it operates on a pre-mapped network of roads. And this is true for all of our vehicles. It operates as if there's a guide rail in the roadway, and the vehicle can operate and it stays to an accuracy of millimeters on that exact pre-mapped roadway. And so we spend a lot of time with our clients to vet and confirm the route that makes the most sense. And then we teach the vehicle that route, and then it drives autonomously with no additional infrastructure needed. We have about 30 of these vehicles in the country. We have about 150 of them operating worldwide. They are low speed vehicles. They operate up to 12 miles an hour. And while this may seem slow, and it is a lower speed vehicle, it is intended for campus-like environments. So think universities, hospitals, business parks, and first and last mile solutions for transit agencies. So and I'll share kind of an overview of deployments that we've done around the world. And I'll show you a really quick video of the EZ10.
EasyMile's driverless EZ10 passenger shuttles provide efficient mobility for campuses, business parks, industrial sites, communities, and more. The intelligent vehicles can replace or integrate with existing services, reduce number of cars on a site, and free up space, time, and resources with their flexible route planning. They provide an inclusive and cost-effective transport service for a safe and ergonomic site. EZ10 can operate on demand to 24/7. Modify the route or number of vehicles in one click. With close to...
All right, I am going to pause there because we don't need to watch the whole video, but that is all on the EasyMile YouTube channel. So please feel free to watch the rest of it. I also want to introduce the Tracked Easy. So this is an automated tow tractor. Again, it uses the same technology and leverages all of our experience with everything from the development of the technology to the deployment process. But this is a driverless and electric tow tractor, similar speeds, but this is actually used to carry goods around. So it can tow up to 15 tons. And this is for use in factories, airports, warehouses, and logistics centers. Can operate both indoors and outdoors, which is a real kind of differentiator in the market. It is a lithium or a lead acid battery. It can work similar to the EZ10 with traffic signals or any other kind of infrastructure in the roadway. It operates on a pre-mapped network of roads, and it does not require any additional infrastructure. So very similar. And again, I will show you a quick video to see the Tracked Easy in action.
Introducing the Tracked Easy, a groundbreaking driverless and zero-emission electric tow truck. Revolutionizes operational flexibility for ground transportation of goods on industrial sites, logistics centers, and airports. Follows predefined routes, warehouse management system orders, or on-demand requests via an app. Pulls up to 25 tons without dedicated infrastructure. Suitable for all weather conditions, indoors and outdoors. Detects and avoids potential obstacles thanks to a full set of sensors. LiDARs, radars, stereo cameras.
Okay, so let me keep going with the presentation. Thank you for your patience as I switch between these. So these vehicles have actually been deployed all over the world. We're really proud of the fact that we've been in 30 different countries. We have over 500,000 miles of driverless experience. And I'm very proud of the fact that we've had no accidents in operations. So we take safety extremely seriously. And I did want to also mention that we have one other service offering that is worth sharing, and this is consulting services. So we've realized that through our experience deploying vehicles and actually getting these autonomous vehicles in real world environments, we've gained a lot of unique and worthy of sharing knowledge. And so we can help public or private organizations consider things like getting advice on autonomous vehicle policy. How does it work with data sharing? What data can be shared? What should we be asking for? The financial analysis, can we really have a return on investment? In what time frame? What does that look like depending on what vehicle types and what fleet I'm replacing? And then we can also help with developing a project if there's interest in building a project or understanding what it takes to have a successful project. So that's a very high level, but there's a lot of kind of real lessons learned to be shared that I think EasyMile is uniquely positioned for. So with that, I thank you very much for your attention. I know that was a quick overview. I'll look forward to questions. This is my contact information as well as my colleague Baptiste, and please don't hesitate to follow up, if not in this session, with questions afterwards. Thank you.
Awesome job, Lauren. Super interesting presentation. Thank you so much for that. Now we will go ahead and allow Mr. Oli Nelson to present with Proterra.
Well, thank you, HGAC, for hosting this, and thank you, Lauren. You're a hard act to follow. I should have gone first. Thanks for smiling. Let's see if I can handle my technology here for starters, but can you see this?
Yes, we can
Yes.
see your screen.
Very good. Excellent. So let me get this going. So yeah, once again, I'm Ollie Nielsen. I'm with Proterra Battery Electric Buses. I'm the commercial sales director for Proterra. So some of you, if not all of you, probably know Proterra. If not, it's a good day because I get to tell you something you might not know. But we are the premier manufacturer of battery electric buses in North America. Like Lauren explained, we are relatively new, but we actually pioneered the heavy-duty electric transit market. We were founded in 2004, and we started putting buses on the road in 2010. So we have more buses out on the road than anybody else in this field, actually. In the very simplest form, we produce a 35-foot and a 40-foot heavy-duty transit bus. So as the name would indicate, in transit, we sell them to a lot of transit agencies, but we also provide zero-emission buses to universities, airports, national parks. We even have a couple tribal nations that use our product. So obviously, this technology has a lot of tailwind, and we've been doing it longer than others. So we came out last year with our CX5, that stands for zero emission, extended range, and actually the 5th generation electric heavy duty bus. And why is that unique? Well, we're already on the 5th generation, and we're not the only ones in this space now. A lot of other entrants, more traditional bus manufacturers, are making electric buses now, but where they are on their 1st, maybe 2nd generation, we are already on our 5th. So again, I'm underlying, we've been doing it longer than anybody else. And the X for extended range actually indicates that we have more battery storage capacity on our buses than anybody else. At 675 kilowatt hours, we have more usable energy than any of our competitors. Why is that important? Well, it gives us more range than any other bus in the 35-foot market out there. Just a little bit more of our overview. Again, we've been doing this longer than anybody, and proudly we have over 130 customers now in between the US and Canada. We're in 43 states and provinces. We've sold over 1,000 vehicles. We've driven more than 25 million miles. We've done some good for the environment, removing over 100 metric tons of CO2 from the transportation environment. Aside from buses, we also deliver charging equipment for these. A lot of people do not do that, but we, as a manufacturer, have decided, the bus is one part of the equation, but people often forget when they get a bus, well, now how are we going to charge it? So we're charging agnostic. You can buy a Proterra bus and not use our system, but we do provide that service. And then we make a superior battery pack as well. And needless to say, they're used in Proterra buses, but it's such a good battery technology that we actually sell it to to other OEMs of smaller vans, excavating equipment, double-decker bus manufacturers, etc. So we have a lot of partners that actually buy Proterra batteries into their fleet. A little more about the bus broken down in its simplest form. This is really a bus that's built around battery technology, right? It's all we do. we built battery electric buses, and we're very good at it. But unlike most, the body of the bus is built around the battery pack. So we've decided to put them in the floor of the bus between the front and the rear axle. Why is that an advantage? Well, it gives you a much lower center of gravity. Most other manufacturers cannot do that. So they put batteries on the roof or in the rear compartment where the engine used to be. And of course, that comes with some red lights because that's, a high collision area, and you do not want anything to run into your battery storage side of your bus. If we step back about 5 years, most manufacturers had their own unique charging solutions. Fortunately, the industry has started to standardize all of that. So our buses are set up with universal J7072 plug-in charging. So you do not have to use a Proterra charger. You can use a Siemens or an ABB or a ChargePoint. It's all been standardized out there now. Adversely, if you have a new flyer bus, for argument's sake, you can buy a Proterra charging system and it would work on that as well. So fortunately, that's standardized. The same goes for opportunity roof charging. If you need high voltage opportunity charging on your routes for, say, a 10-5 minutes top off, that's also standardized to J3105 standards. We built a lightweight composite bus that's also unique. It gives us advantages in lighter weight. We extend the range of our bus, but it's also non-corrosive. It won't rust, and it's non-conductive, which is great when you're working around high voltage batteries. And so a little bit of our charging solutions. We can do large fleet solutions to charge up to 20 buses or vehicles at the same time, or smaller individual cabinets, depending on your setup. Obviously, a lot of people start out small in this space, maybe a bus or two, but then they scale up because they know they got to get to 50 zero emission buses. So we actually do fleet modeling and advanced looking forward modeling with our customers if they need it from us. And here you have one of those pantograph overhead chargers that we also provide if you need opportunity charging on your routes. So why Proterra? Well, we've been building buses from the ground up, purpose-built for battery electric longer than anybody else. We have more onboard storage, usable energy than anybody else. We are very good because we have so many touch points out there to scale and analyze people's setups, their modeling and fleet needs. And again, our battery packs are built by Proterra. They're very good battery packs, and they're used by a lot of other powered EV products out there. And we have our own field service network of, I think, 50 field service technicians now and counting. So while there may not be a field service rep currently where you are, the chances are somebody is close by, especially for any warranty matters. I know HGAC will supply you with our contact information, but mine is here at the bottom of this slide. Okay. Thank you. That concludes my my Proterra presentation.
Great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To everyone, while he is dropping his link in the chat, and we'll stop sharing at this time. You all can raise your hand and unmute yourself if you all have any questions for either of our vendors. You can also type any questions that you may have in the chat. I also just dropped a link in our chat for our open houses. We have open houses for the rest of the year for all of our contracts if that contract hasn't passed. So please visit that link as well and sign up for any future open houses. So I will start out with the question. You all again can raise your hand and unmute yourself to ask or drop any other questions in the chat. But here was a question that someone else sent to me, and it just says, how does the maintenance cost of electric vehicles compare with combustion engine vehicles? And either of you or both of you can actually answer that.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping in. Do you want it, Lauren? I'll certainly gladly answer it, but.
Well, both of you can answer it.
Please go for it.
Yeah, no, well, there's certainly much less maintenance on a battery electric bus than you would see on a CNG or diesel or even a hybrid product. I think rule of thumb, you're probably cutting it in half over the lifetime of the bus. Electric buses are not maintenance free. You do have to, change motor oil, etc. But it's certainly not the type of maintenance you would be used to on a combustible engine type bus. So for the life, these are built to last 12, 15 years. I mean, we often state that your maintenance savings basically makes up for the difference in the upfront cost on a battery electric bus versus a diesel bus over the lifetime of the bus. So yes, a diesel would still be cheaper, or CNG, than a battery electric, but considering you're using it for 12, 15 years, you will make that difference up in maintenance savings.
Yeah, I'll agree with all of that. When we do our kind of return on investment analysis, we can show that through a switch from diesel to electric combined with a switch to autonomous, the savings are really significant over especially multiple years. I think we estimate something similar. It's about half the cost. It is estimates at this point, but it really is. There are just a lot less moving parts. There are a lot less things to break. And that's the benefit.
Okay, that is awesome.
So I have a question. People, it's like a fad now to like build out buses and travel. Is it going to be possible to travel across the country in an electric bus? Is that in the future?
Well,
You can do it, Ali.
Well, so there is some irony in that question. Of course, the short answer is currently no, not on a single charge. But of course, you can travel across the country because your charging infrastructure is getting. You can take a Proterra bus into a Walmart high, charging station these days, and they will have DC to DC charging and actually charge it right there. So yes, you can travel like that, but not on a single charge. But you couldn't travel across the country
Single gas
on a single tank of gas either, or diesel, right? So but Proterra actually did we claimed about a year or two ago that we managed to drive over 1,000 miles on a single charge. Now that is true. But that was also in a bus without passengers, without the AC running, without the heat running. There were no hills. It was very flat. It was on a test track. So we managed to run 1,000 miles. But, on a good day, on extended range bus like we deliver with 40 passengers, you can see up to 300 miles before you need charging again. But it's getting very equivalent to a tank of diesel now. I do realize that it's quicker to fill up a tank of diesel than recharging a battery electric bus. But charging technology is getting bigger and stronger as well. So with that, if you have a big enough charger in kilowatt, you can charge it relatively quickly.
Yeah, and I think the key is finding the use cases where these vehicles make sense today, because just like the way our iPhones have evolved in the last 10 years, the battery technology is just going to keep getting better and better and last longer, combined with the fact that there's going to be infrastructure in more and more places. And so and same for our vehicles, the speed is going to go up. Like there are so many different aspects of this that's going to evolve. But the reality is today, these vehicles are available and they present great opportunity with plenty of use cases where it's relevant. So it may not solve every single thing that an organization needs, but that's okay. That's not what we're trying to do. It's about finding where it does make sense.
That's good. So I'm going to ask one last question. Two last questions in one, and either of you or both of you can answer it. You said that one of you said that it could charge relatively quickly. About how long does it take to completely fully recharge? And have either of you looked into like solar recharging or, keeping that like even on the bus, because it's a huge bus? So what do you all think about that?
Lauren, you
I think it's more relevant for you. So yeah, go ahead.
No, I jumped on the last one, so I didn't want to.
No, that's okay.
Take dips here again. No, so two questions really, and two answers. To how long does it take to charge? We face that question everywhere we go, right? And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the answer is relative to a couple of things. One, how much when you bought the bus, did you get the biggest battery pack or a smaller pack in kilowatt hours? Let's say you have 450 kilowatt hours on board storage, which is the 4-pack that I showed you embedded in the floor of the Proterra bus. When it comes in for charging, it depends. Is it charge? Do you have 10% energy left, or do you have 30% energy left? That's relevant to how quickly do you get to 100. But for argument's sake, without dragging out the answer, if you come back to your depot with say a 30%, 25% state of charge left, I mean, you can still drive the bus 50 miles, but you have that much left, and you have a 150 kilowatt charger. Well, then it takes you 2.5, 3 hours to fully charge that bus. Now you can have a 200 kilowatt hour charger. Now you're looking at an hour and a half, right? Or you can be down to 10% state of charge. But a good rule of thumb, I tell people, you're looking at 3 to 4 hours, right? Depending on your setup to fully recharge. Now, the second question was solar, and yes, actually, Proterra, we have not delivered them yet, but we have sold a couple of micro stations that includes not only Proterra charging, but also a microgrid of solar as part of the package.
Wow, that's awesome. That's good. Okay, Lauren, this question is specifically for you. How often do you run into the concern? And if you do run into it quite a bit, I guess, how do you address the concern that maybe automated vehicles will push people out of their jobs?
Yes, I have heard that concern before. So here's the thing. So right now, most of our vehicles still have safety operators in them. And right now, those safety operators, a very significant part of their job is answering questions for people and helping them understand, how does the vehicle work? Am I safe? What's going to happen? Where's the steering wheel? Questions like that. So which is why we call them customer service ambassadors. But at the same time, those people in the vehicles also are kind of a safety backup for the vehicle. And they are always looking around, and they're always around to hit an emergency stop button if it was ever needed, or they can manually drive the vehicle if there's something blocking its way. So right now, there is actually still a human involved in the vehicle. Now, over time, and we're already starting to have the safety operator not be in the vehicle, but we still require someone to be on site and watch the vehicle through our fleet management system. And what we expect to see over time is that the ratio of people to vehicles is going to keep shrinking. And so we're not going to have this 1-to-1 ratio, and it's going to keep kind of changing. And we don't know what that final ratio will be, but I would compare this to what we've seen. I love to compare to the elevators. When elevators first came out, you had a safety attendant in the elevator. And for a while, they actually kept that person in the elevator just for comfort. There was absolutely no purpose. Anybody can hit that button, you know? And so, you know, there is going to be a point where there's just not a need for that person. I think the other thing that's really important is that most of the places where we're operating, they are facing driver shortages.
Right.
And so this is actually solving a problem more than causing a problem. And the way I put it is, if you were, and we're not selling trucks, but if you had a 25-year-old or a 40-year-old that was in the trucking industry, you'd say, hey, keep going. There's going to be a job for you for a while. If you had a 5-year-old that was interested in becoming a truck driver, you might say, hey, this career may not make sense because 15 years from now, that we might not need drivers, or not nearly as many, or they'd have different skill sets. So I think we're going to see a very slow evolution. It's not going to happen overnight. And I think that this is actually going to be great for the workforce as opposed to a negative.
Right. Good point. Good answers. You guys did great. Again, thank you all for coming today and presenting. Thank everyone else for logging on. Kristen is about to drop some HGACBuy contact information in the chat, as we said in the video. So if you all need anything from us, my name is Marlena Mack, and my information is there. I am the contact for our members. So whatever you need, if you need help navigating the system, getting in contact with any of our vendors, documents, please feel free to reach out to me. If we have people on the call that aren't yet members, you are potential members and would like to join, Kristen will drop that chat in there for you all to be able to complete our IOC form. And it's really short, really easy. If you need help with that, Stephanie Huey's information is in the chat as well. And lastly, please connect with us. Our LinkedIn is growing and busy, and we share information and events all the time that we're having on our LinkedIn and on our Instagram. Please go add us, like us, and we will like you back. So that link, I think Kristen is also dropping in the chat. And for any of you all that go out and sign up to go to conferences, we are going to conferences. We've been back all year long traveling. And so our conference schedule is on our website. If you see any that you're going to, please reach out, let us know that you'll be there, including our vendors on the call as well. Let us know that you'll be there, and we will look forward to seeing you. If there aren't any additional questions or concerns, again, thank you all so much for logging in, and please sign up for our future open houses. You guys have a good day and a productive day at work.